Namaskar to all of my story lovers. Welcome back in Storytime channel. I'm Pallavi reading interesting stories for you. Today I'm reading The Goddesses of the White Lake. This is the story taken from the book The Daughter from Wishing Tree, written by the great Sudha Murty. Now let's go to the story. Bharata, one of the 100 sons of the first Tirthankara, ruled the kingdom of Ayodhya, while Bahubali, the youngest of the sons, got Pondarpur. One day, when he was in the armory, Bharata saw a rotating circular disc that seemed to point in a certain direction. When he spoke to the astrologers of the kingdom about his observation, they said, "This is an indication that you will rule the earth and become an emperor." In a time, it seemed that the prediction was coming true. As Bharata fought many wars and expanded his kingdom with the aid of the disk, which pointed the way to him on his journey. One day, Bharata was returning to Ayodhya after one such war, anticipating that he was close to becoming an emperor when suddenly the disk stopped rotating. Bharata knew that this was an indication of something important and sent inquiries to various scholars and astrologers. Finally, he was told, "The disk has stopped because you also need your 99 brothers to submit to you. Only then can you proceed on your quest to be an emperor." So Bharata sent a royal letter to all his brothers, informing them that they must either submit to him or wage war against him to determine the winner. 98 of his brothers were absolutely displeased when they received the communication. For the sake of his ego and land, Bharata was calling his own brethren to battle. Given their limited resources, the 98 brothers decided to give him their share of the kingdom and left. Bahubali, however, refused to submit and surrender his share of the kingdom. Since he was a tall and strong warrior, he sent a message to Bharata: "Come, brother, let's fight, just the two of us. I don't want either of our subjects to be innocent victims, so let's keep this between us." Bharata agreed, and the two met on the battlefield. The brothers engaged in three kinds of tournaments: Mallayuddha, that is wrestling; Jalayuddha, battle in water; and the Drishtiyuddha, staring at each other. Bharata was equal to Bahubali in skill, but Bahubali used the advantage of his height to defeat Bharata in the Jala Yuddha and the Drishti Yuddha. When he won, Bahubali knew that he would be crowned emperor, the lord of many, many kingdoms. But the rush of power faded away as quickly as it had come. "I don't need this kingdom," he thought. "Look at us. The love for land and power has turned us into mortal enemies." With that intense realization, Bahubali gave away all that he had won to Bharata and left to meditate and perform a penance in the search for ultimate bliss. He became a Digambar Jain monk and gave away all his clothes, money, and ornaments. He stood bare naked for a year in one spot, ant hills forming around him, Even dust, water, and the sun and the wind did not bother him. Despite his focus and dedication, he was still unhappy. It bothered him that he was standing on the land of his brothers Bharata. A year passed. Finally, Bharata felt ashamed and went to visit his brother. When the brothers reunited, Bahubali became free of all attachment and attained a supreme knowledge and moksha. Bharata built a beautiful statue of his brother. History differs from this account. The single stone 58-foot granite statue of Bahubali or Gomateshwara is located on the top of Vindhyagiri hill in the Shravanbelgola in Hassan district of Karnataka. It was built by the great Jain Prime Minister of the Ganga dynasty, that is Chamundraya, and it represents detachment from worldly life. It is one of the rare statues that depicts Bahubali having a calm expression. Besides this, many of his statues exist in Karnataka alone, in places such as Veliru, Karakala, Gomatagiri, and the Dharmashala. But none can surpass the beauty of the statue in Shravanbelgola. Owing to this very beauty, Chamundarya began regarding himself as the greatest man on earth. His perspective and ego thus dominated all his future work. One day, the statue was washed with milk and water, and Chamundraya ordered drums of milk for the ceremony of Abhisheka or the anointment of the statue. He was surprised to learn that despite drum after drum of milk being poured on the statue, the milk would not flow past Bahubali's hips. What was wrong? No matter how much the priest tried, the result remained the same, and the ceremony of Abhisheka remained incomplete. Just then, Chamundraya saw an old lady walking past with a small container of milk. She asked him politely, "Sir, may I use this milk for Bahubali's Abhisheka?" "Oh, Aji, we are unable to bath the statue despite the liters of milk that we have poured over it. But if you think your little bit of milk will help in successfully completing the ceremony, please go ahead and try." Slowly, the old lady went up the makeshift staircase until she reached the head of the statue and poured the milk over it. To everyone's surprise, the milk covered Bahubali's entire body. In fact, there was so much excess milk that it flowed down and formed a pond of white on the ground. Chamundraya knew then that she was no ordinary lady but a divine soul. When he apologized to her, she transformed into goddesses Yakshi and said gently, "Don't be proud, dear one. Everybody has the faith they believe to be true. What you can accomplish with that faith is much more important than what you can do with money. I wanted to show you that, which is why I played this little trick on you." If you visit Shravanbelgola today, you can still see the pond below the hill. It was filled with the milk once, and that's why it is known as Biliya Kola, meaning a white lake in the Kannada, and you will also find a statue of Aji holding the little milk pot in her hand. Do you like this story? Then tell me in the comment box and subscribe our channel.